He can't rest. That's enough. That is enough to do it.
Mega win SmashCon 2022. Oh my God, from winner's side.
They said it was a slump. They said Mango had fallen down, but they forgot the first commandment. Thou shalt not sleep on the kid.
Now let's start to get into Battle of BC4. So now, okay, for those who are just joining us, hello stream. This is a pre-recorded segment with turndownforwalt and cyfer003, or just Cypher, you get it. But hello all, we're here to talk about a lot of cool stuff related to GMO, including Battle of BC4, Gallant Gaming's first big IRL event back since the start of the pandemic. And turndownforwalt, you had a big part in Battle of BC4. So let's go. And this is in the beginning of June, so we're going back a little ways. I don't want to try to trivia you out of your mind with, hey, what do you remember from this day? What do you remember from that day? But I just want to hear your perspective about how you had been commentating in a lot of the Gallant Melee Opens, the GMO tournaments, the online events leading up to Battle BC4 with Radar. And from the Mix Up podcast, shout outs, and the previous commentary blocks that you and Radar have done, it's very apparent that you two have pretty good chemistry with each other, you know, at the very least, if not excellent chemistry. So I love how you all were able to get into Battle BC4 to commentate top 8. You'd commentated the first half of top 8. So I'm interested in hearing from you not like the whole this led to this arc, but I am interested in hearing a little bit of just how that all came to be and like your favorite steps of the way getting there, however you want to do it, Walt.
Yeah, I think well, huge shout outs to Deer first and foremost. I mean, he is just an incredible human being, and he deserves all the praise in the world for, you know, putting on, whether it's a GMO or an in-person event like Battle of BC. He's a lovely person. I love hanging out with him. And I got to meet him in person, actually, for the first time at Battle of BC, which was really, really great. He was just super accommodating and easy to work with, and happy to work for him again because he runs a good show for sure. But yeah, I think working towards a LAN event was definitely a big goal of mine. And like we had gotten there with Genesis, got a few commentary blocks. Riptide, I got to cast Rivals of Aether, so that was a fun time. But I think like that was top 8s were definitely kind of like a stretch goal of sorts to get there. And in my case in particular, being able to work online events as often as I could was really good, just given my working situation, because it was pretty hard for me to travel at the time, and obviously for everyone else in the world to travel at the time.
Yes, of course.
So being able to do online events was kind of a very good way of building up, not necessarily a resume, but of course it does help to have the experience and kind of like get your visibility out there. But I guess more so the comfort on the mic to be able to just be like, yeah, I've been here before, I can do this again. And it is crazy how true it is that casting in person is way easier than casting online. And I guess because like, and I like, you know, as a very, very, very long backstory for me, I had casted tournaments back in like 2015. And again, like I said in our first episode together many years ago, no one knew that I had a different tag. I casted and streamed what is known as the worst tournament in South Carolina, which is called Olympus. There is a whole documentary by Slap Shoes, the NASCAR YouTuber, who happened to actually be at that tournament back in 2015, which is just bizarre to think about. But I had some experience doing commentary because I commentated that entire tournament, which was like an 18-hour day straight. I did every single set of the entire tournament, or probably like 80% of that tournament. But I guess like my first true experience doing online events was good because I was able to kind of like work with Radar and like develop that rapport with him. And now like he and I are really close, and I would say like a very, very good friend of mine in the community. Um, Bummer I couldn't go to his wedding. I wish I could have made it. But
Congrats,
congrats to him
Radar.
also for getting married. But I think like being able to build that synergy online was a really interesting dynamic because I remember it was like Ginger who had tweeted when Radar and I started to become like, I don't know, static for lack of a better word for the
Mm-hmm.
online era.
A little bit of a
And
thing, yeah.
yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
Ginger would tweet and say like, hey, like, Radar and Turn Down for Walt, like you're doing really, really good at commentary, and it's crazy because it's so much easier to cast in person than it is online. Like it's actually so difficult to be as synergistic as you are online. And I was like, huh, I guess this is kind of like all we know. So we're just kind of used to it at this point. But, then we go into Vancouver for Battle of BC and we do it in person and we're like, holy crap, this is crazy. I can look at you now and know that you're about to say something. Or, like we can talk beforehand, like in person, we can interview the players right beforehand. Like there are just so many advantages to being in person. Um, so speaking specifically on Battle of BC4, going into that event, it was just a treat to be able to go there. And for me specifically, that was my first time in Canada ever. So I was able to kind of like see international areas, and that was really fun. And then I just got to see some cool melee, so it was really, really cool. The event and production was just a treat as always. They're all just so great, and I love working with them. So it was a really, really amazing experience to be at. And then shortly after was Gommel, so it was very like back to back, and things rolled into each other really, really fast, and here we are.
And I'm interested in hearing about the Gommel experience as well. It was awesome to have not just one, but two really high profile majors for the Canadian region, and one being in Vancouver, that's West Coast more or less, and out in Toronto for Gommel, you get the East Coast flair as well. But I think that Canada more or less showed up in full force to both events, with variances in between for sure. But it was really cool just because you don't often get to see players like Sunsei and Moki who have certain travel limitations, that sort of things. And I guess we get to see none. But going down the list at Battle BC 4, that's where I saw Elliot play for the first time. And I've heard about Elliot before, but I don't usually get to see Elliot play because I'm not able to catch a lot of those events happening live. You get it. So for the big events, you get to see players like that show up and show out. And then over at Gommel, they were doing all kinds of fun things too. They were taking advantage of this party boat after the tournament was over. I heard a few stories from other people who were there, that kind of thing. Super fun. I was not there at either event, so I'm a little sad, but that's what I get for having other things outside of being fanatically obsessed with Melee. So Walt, for you, what was some highlights or favorite moments from Gommel and being in Toronto, Canada?
From Gommel, Joe is just a homie. Again, I sung the praises of Deer, so now I'll sing the praises of T.O. Joe.
T.O. Joe.
Yeah, just super cool guy. Again, like runs a really, really solid show and kind of like knows what he wants out of production. Um, it was a stressful weekend for sure. My flight got delayed 4 hours. And then my checked bag was delayed by an hour as well. So by the time I got all of my stuff into Toronto, and I got my Uber, cruise that I was scheduled to cast with Radar.
No.
And then we got that fun IBDW Moki clip at the end.
Yes. You were missing part of the Worlds versus USA crew battle. Oh my gosh.
So I barely made it in time. So I walk in and I'm texting the commentary coordinator. His name's escaping me right now, and I apologize for that. But I text him. I'm like, it's gonna be close. I was like, but I'm gonna fucking do this block because like I didn't fly here for nothing. So I get in and I'm like, do I have time to go to my room and shower? And he's like, no. And I was like, fuck it. All right. So I go straight to the venue with all of my suitcases and all of my camera gear. I throw it backstage. I say hi to Joe, meeting him for the first time ever. And I'm like, all right, I gotta go commentate. But it turned out to be like a really, really fun event. And I think again, like I know a lot of this is coming from the perspective of like my experience as a caster at these events because it's kind of new grounds for me personally.
Yeah.
As a caster, I think Gommel was a lot of fun because every event that I've gone to so far, and when I complete like whether it's like a top cut of commentary, so the 2 top 8s here or the top 4 at SSC, I walk away from those commentary blocks feeling like that was the best block me and my co-caster have ever done, which is really empowering and really fulfilling, and it just is great to think about. Damn, like we can keep going up and we can keep kind of like shattering the ceiling of like skill in this craft that we're kind of building and creating for ourselves here. So that in itself made the trip very, very fulfilling. Gommel as a whole for a tournament is just, again, like as someone who's been a spectator for as long as I have been, getting to watch, all of the Gommels Blur saying Happy July 4th when Mango won that one time. I remember all of the clips, right? But then you get to kind of be a part of it, and it really changes your perspective on it a lot and kind of makes you appreciate the community and the members of the community that make all of these things happen. A lot of time on shoestring budgets, but again, not going to get into that shit, but they make things kind of produce out of nothing, and it's incredible to see. Like I'm just so flabbergasted by how insane these tournaments and these build outs and these venues are every single time I get to go, and being able to like lend my voice into that now really adds like another layer of appreciation. So it's sick to be able to go to these tournaments and kind of talk into a microphone about how much we love video games.
Live content programming for Battle BC4 or the USA versus Worlds crew battle at Gommel. It just, you have these two really big events, and shout outs to other people who are actually running like the locals and making things happen on a regular basis. But when Canada gets to show off the best of the best, really come through. So big shout outs to Tiojo, big shout outs to Deer, and I think that crew battle in particular, which I got to see most of the way through. I think I got in about a quarter of the way. I missed like the first couple of players on each team, and I was going like, I'm an idiot. But with crews, it can be a wash sometimes where one team has a clear advantage over the other, and it is what it is. They finish with a couple of players in the pocket still, and they go, all right, we're just built different. But that went down to last stock, and including, I believe, a 3 stock comeback on IBDW's part. And it was like, okay, I know that this is a little crazy, but they reminded me of the good ending. Not that I'm a super big USA and nobody else fan, but when it's the Olympics, and when the Olympics were in Canada and it was USA versus Canada for the gold medal, I remember very clearly that game going to overtime and Sidney Crosby winning the game for Canada, and it was overtime, and I remember being so annoyed because I thought, oh, we were this close, and I was a hockey fan for 3 weeks afterwards, and then I flamed out. But I'm a Melee fan first, so watching this event, I was going, oh, Moki's gonna win it for Canada, that's really, really cool. But as soon as IBDW won it for USA, I was like, well, actually, I think I like this better. And it reminded me of when we lost that Olympic game. This was like 10 plus years ago when the Olympics were in Canada, and when I thought of it, I went, wow, that's such a weird connection to make. Why is my brain like this? But it was still probably one of the better, if not the best, modern crew battle that we've seen like in the past 5 years. Easy.
Yeah,
great crew battle. I would love to see that again next year.
I literally think that it's the best crew battle of the last decade. And part of that is because like crew battles as a format weren't pushed super hard at a lot of tournaments of kind of like the middle 2010s and stuff like that. But yeah, that event was so crazy. And then you think about like the context and the storylines, like you're saying, from like, like the Olympics, USA versus Canada, 4th of July weekend, and on Canada Day.
I totally forgot about that.
That's insane, dude. It's like,
that's awesome.
That's actually so insane. And it's funny that you said like, you thought this was one that was rather even, because I think after, at least for me, and I know me and Radar do this a good bit too, is after like we'll finish blocks together, we kind of like icebox it a little bit, and we'll talk about like, hey, what were things that you immediately noticed and kind of like stuck in your mind from that block that we can kind of like improve on or do whatever. And one of the things that I noticed from the crew battle in particular, which I don't think many people pointed out, was I thought we were super biased the entire time because it was very close the entire time. But me and Radar kept saying, like, there is no way this is close. USA should, in theory, completely wash Canada. Not like completely wash, but like you just look at like the depth that USA had, and we were like, this team is wild. I don't see how USA loses this. And then it went down to stock 40 against stock 40 at the very end, and I'm sitting there, you know, we're completing the final stock, and I'm like, damn, we really sat here in between every single game going like, I don't see how USA loses, or like Canada's at such an immense deficit right now, even though like they're down 2 stocks and like Elliot or whoever who was it, Zuppy got 7 stocks or something crazy. He had this insane performance.
Great performance.
Yeah, just like it's just funny. So I love that crew battle. I wish more people could do crew battles. It is a logistical nightmare from a tournament perspective to be able to organize that many people.
Yeah.
But if we can do it, I mean, the people really love watching it. I know I love watching it. I think it's a dope format.
I mean, crews can just be they're obviously great times for it to be region versus region. When you're talking about getting, you know, the top 10 level, the top 20 level players all together at a big event like GOML, it is challenging. So maybe GOML is the unofficial crews when you're doing the USA versus World concept. Maybe that's where it gets serious, and we'll get to see at least one great crew battle a year. Obviously, it'd be cool to see more, but then, yeah, I'm the kind of person who loves watching Melee in a lot of different contexts, but there's other people who like watching it a little bit less, and then they might watch maybe 3 or 4 top 8s a year, and so they won't really want to do much more than that, and it's a shame. But for those of all of us here in the chat, you're watching this event because you're super into Melee, so y'all are real ones for joining in on this discussion. Now, I wanted to introduce this game that I have for you to close this out. And future Jesse, I am sorry, but you're gonna have to edit in music because I did not feel like doing that, juggling that and the text overlay. So why am I doing editing now? Why? Thank you, future Jesse. But we have trivia related to all the Gallant Melee Opens, all 5 of those, plus Battle of BC 4. Now, this is going to be you versus the game. You could say you versus the house or you versus me for trivia, where if you get 3 questions right first, it's the best 3 out of 5, right? If you get 3, then you win, and therefore I will make yet another purchase. Look, we have turned down for
man,
Walt.
You can't do that to me.
We also have, look, 20th anniversary. You know,
let's go.
This can all be found on turndownforwalt.com, and this is where I'm gonna have to go. If you get 3 questions right first, or if you get 3 questions wrong, then, well, you don't have to do anything for me. You could just sit there and be embarrassed that you don't have the memory of a computer.
I actually probably won't win. I do want to say, actually, because I didn't expect you to put these stakes on this game. The URL for turndownforwalt.com may not be active by the time you try to buy something. Because,
oh no! No,
I'll do it for you, Cypher. But this is a soft announcement that the website is actually getting a bit of a facelift, and I will be announcing that hopefully this week, before GMO. But I don't know if it will be ready yet. So for anyone who's listening to this, the website may or may not be revamped, and there may or may not be new products on there, and I may or may not be announcing something really cool that's merch related in the next week or so, and it's totally not related to Shine. So there's some cool things happening. But again, I don't want to throw a monkey wrench into your stakes, but if I win, You don't have to buy anything because the store might be dead right now.
Okay, well, how about this? Patreon.com/turndownforwalt is another way where financial support can be given to Walt, one of our favorite people in the Melee community, and for being so kind to join me in this game in a very impromptu stakes. I thought it would be fun to put stakes on this trivia night.
Let's
do
it. Yeah.
Let's go.
Virtual handshake, and actually, I'm not subscribed to you on Patreon, so I'll sub to you.
No freaking way. You are not gonna do. These questions are not that tough, but still, this. I did not dig super deep. Okay, these questions again are about all the GMOs and Battle BC4. It unfortunately does not include anything from Gommel, but I thought you had a hand in all of these events in some way or other, so maybe you'll remember some of these occurrences or trivia related things to these online events and to Battle BC4. So the first question that I have for you, Walt, is at the Gallant Melee Open Spring 2022, this was the first GMO to never merge the East and West Coast brackets. They remain separate because Deer wanted the winner from each bracket to actually be flown out to Battle BC4 and play in person, which is super cool. But I'm not asking that. What I'm saying is that Swift beat Ben East side and Sunsei beat Kadoran on the West side. But in both of these grand finals, the same thing happened, and I'm wondering if you can catch the common occurrence between each grand finals.
Okay, Swift beat Ben, and who beat Kadoran again?
Sunsei beat Kadoran, and so, right, obviously there's not common characters or anything, but again, the same thing happened. I can't be more specific than that.
Same thing happens. Beat Ben. Sunsei beat Kadoran. And this was the most recent GMO, right? Before Battle of BC4?
That is correct.
Oh, Lord. Okay. Swift beat... And I'm not allowed to watch the set, right?
No.
It's like... Okay. Oh, crap. Okay.
We'll be back in just a little bit after these messages.
Swift beat Ben, and Sunsei beat Kadoran, and a similar thing happened in both of those sets.
Yeah, definitely significant, so don't try to chase down a super far niche thing. It is...
Was there a crash?
That would be a fun answer, but that is not it. I'll give you one more guess.
Oh, boy. Yeah, I actually don't know then. I got nothing.
That's okay. So there was actually a bracket reset in each grand finals.
Okay.
Yeah, so I know that's... Yeah, if I said what bracket-related thing happened in each grand finals, that would have been... But I was worried that if I said that, that would just be leading the horse to the water too hard. I'm sorry.
No worries. So I'm in the game.
We're 0-1, but with, hey, a lot of great players have gone down 0-1 and have turned things around. So the new question, who has won the most Gallant Gaming events since the start of 2021? So that includes all 6 events. Who has won the most of those events?
Gallant Gaming. So Hungrybox won the first one, like the first ever one.
Yes.
But then he didn't win a tournament for a while. I think it's Hungrybox, I'm pretty sure. But it just sucks that he was so bad in 2020. Yeah, because I think S2J won one. I think None won one. Or maybe got second at one. I think it's Hungrybox.
Yes, it is. Hungrybox has won 3 GMO events.
Okay.
Yeah. Nice. So, hey, we're 1-1.
He only won half.
Well,
that 2020, man. Come on.
You're just being super hard on Hungrybox for not playing super consistently, but shows out for Gallant Melee Open events. So let's go.
He does.
Let's go, Juan. Okay, so now we move on to question 3, the pivotal game 3, as they say. Were there more floaties or spacies at the Battle of BC for top 8 bracket? So in top 8, were there more spacies or floaties?
Battle of BC 4.
Yes.
Do you count Leffen as a spacey or a floaty? Does she
That
count
actually
as a
does not
floaty?
impact the final answer. If
Oh, it doesn't. Okay. So who was in top 8? Leffen won. Zane got second. Amsa beat Moki. So that's Moki got 7th. Sunsei Kadoran for 7th. I feel like I gotta write this down. Shit. All right, so let's count Leffen as a spacey. So Leffen is spacey 1. Sunsei is spacey 2. Moki is spacey 3. H-Box is floaty 1. If we're counting Sheik as not, oh well, it's spacey versus floaty, so we'll count Sheik as floaty then. So J-Mook's floaty 2, Zane's floaty-ish 3, Amsa is Yoshi. I don't know where he factors in.
Factor as a floaty.
Okay.
I'm not gonna
it would be
entertain
floaties. It would be floaties
Twitch
then,
chat
yeah.
comments on that, by the way.
Yeah, because there were only 3 foxes. Leffen, Sunsei, and Moki, who got 7th, 7th, and 1st. So, and then the rest are 2 Marths, a Yoshi, a Sheik, and a Puff. That's 8. I counted right. I'm an engineer. Yeah, it's floaties.
That is correct. More floaties in
Nice.
the top 8 of Battle BC4. So winning the pivotal game 3, and now we move on to game 4, possibly the last question of the night, which is a real shame because I feel like when I spend time doing anything, I don't like it to be wasted. But then I'll spend an hour on Twitter just scrolling mindlessly.
Do you want me to throw? So we can get the fifth question?
Don't throw. Okay. Of the 6 possible events, so again, all 5 GMOs in Battle BC4, which one drew the most total entrants?
Total entrance. I have a gut guess for this, and I'm just gonna send it because I truly don't know what the answer would be otherwise. I'm gonna say GMO Summer. What was it? GMO Summer 2021.
So I was definitely being a little bit mean to you here. When I said total entrants, I was counting Ultimate as well. So Battle BC4.
Okay.
Okay, but you're right in saying that one of the it was actually the very first Gallant Melee Open that had the most total melee entrants. You're right, over 300 entrants, nearly 400 actually. So
Really?
obviously really cool. All the GMOs get strong numbers, but the first one got the most, and yes, has the most melee entrants, more than Battle BC4 melee entrants. But when I said total entrants, I was wondering if you would catch that.
You cheeky little bastard. Yeah, my gut was thinking Summer just because Vancity had those super sick skins for the entire stream, and I thought that was like a really big draw for people to enter because I mean, from a spectator perspective, it was really sick to see that.
Super awesome. And so now this is game 5.
Okay.
I mean, I definitely counterpicked to a really bad stage for you, but you have home field, I guess. You're counterpicking now to a stage that you like. And the last question is, has any player appeared in every single top 8 of these 6 events? Yes or no?
Every top 8. So there's 6 GMOs, right? So you're asking if there's
5 GMOs and Battle BC4.
Okay, so that's counting towards this too. Okay.
Yep.
So the only one I can think of would be Hungry Box then, because I don't think Zane entered GMOs. He definitely wasn't at Summer. And then none didn't make top 8 in Battle of BC. Amsa's in Japan, so that's a no.
Yeah. Very much in
Doran
Japan.
has made top 8s in GMOs and Battle of BC. Sunsei has missed top 8s of GMOs. Moki has missed top 8s of GMOs. I don't know if that's because he wasn't attending them. And then J-Mook miraculously got good out of nowhere with no prior precedent. So
just appeared
he was
at
just
Genesis
first as
8.
a good
Yeah,
player.
literally just, and all of a sudden is finishing at second.
Every
no big
top
deal.
8, yeah. I think the answer is yes, and I think it's Hungrybox who is the player. I know that wasn't part of the answer, but if it's not HBox, then it's because he missed it at one of the random GMOs. But I think he's made top 8 at every single one, and then lost because he lost to S2J at that one. Yeah, I think he did make top 8 at all of them. I'll lock it in. Let's say yes.
We are locking in Hungrybox, aka yes, that every top 8 was appeared for one player at the very least, but the answer is actually no, because Two Saint actually beat Hungrybox in the Puff Ditto for a top 8.
I casted that set. Are you kidding me? Oh my god. Fuck. Sorry, I shouldn't swear on this episode. Oh my god. I literally know it because I posted an Instagram reel of that set and I casted it with Zoo. I remember exactly what you're talking about. And they go on like a rest train on each other. And it was it was the sickest thing. Oh my god, he missed top 8 because of that?
Yes, that was qualifier to make loser side top 8. But actually,
which GMO was that?
I'm not remembering off the top of my head. But the other thing is that Hungrybox was not at the most recent GMO, the spring one of this year of 2022.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
Huh.
But I think entered every other one, missed it legitimately once because of the Two Saint deal. But Hungrybox and Aklo are actually tied at 4 apiece, 4 appearances in top 8s out of all this apiece. But Aklo sadly did not go to Battle BC4 and then is busy,
Okay.
I think, medical school, I want to say. Something related to being a Dr. Aklo. I'm not sure, actually, so don't quote me on that. Twitch chat, always happy to correct me, so I appreciate y'all for doing that. If indeed I need correction. I could just be right the whole time too. But either way, an exhilarating, it was so hard to keep a straight face. You played very well, very admirably, and I was going to say this in either instance. You are not actually held to it. I just wanted to lay down some stakes. If you sub to patreon.com/bsmpod, if you do that, that is cool, but either way, I'm super happy that you took it all the way and made it very entertaining for all of us here on the stream at the GMO content night. Walt, thank you so much for playing and being game to do that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and I'm subscribing to you right now. So
bless up. Thank you so much. And to all of you on stream, whether this is going to chain into another content piece, which most assuredly it has to be. How wild would... No, we have all kinds of cool content pieces for y'all this evening that have either happened or are going to be coming up. So please stay tuned for that. We're just going to do shout out. I need to put this on the overlay. Shout outs to Deer. Shout outs to Deer for running yet another GMO and continuing to say, hey, our online event is somehow not just going to be on a random evening. We're going to make it a multi-day thing, and we're going to have multiverses at this event. Walt, will you be in the multiverses bracket?
I may be casting it, but I don't know if I should, because I'm definitely not experienced in watching the game that much yet.
Is Zetterburn in there? Because you know all about Zetterburn.
I can tell you about Zetterburn. I got a lot of experience with that guy.
Of course.
Shout outs to Dan Furness. But yeah, I told Deer that I'd be interested in doing multiverses potentially, but I might have to back out of that one until I kind of get a little bit more chops there and feel comfortable talking intelligently about that game. But yeah, maybe we'll see.
And
this is kind of set in the future in some way though too, so like some of it might have happened already by the time people see this.
Indeed. So we're all looking forward to seeing whether or not Walt commentates multiverses, and it does an excellent job anyway. But either way, thank you all so much for joining us, and stay tuned for more.
One.